Welcome to GeekStorm, everybody. I'm Sean Hilton, owner of Comics Cube, one of the founders of the Kokomo Con, and I'm right down here on Geek Street, where you can visit us almost all week long. Let's say specifically Wednesday through Saturday from noon to 5. You can also check out my good friends right here in Kokomo Toys, where we are filming right this second. They're open Wednesday through Saturday, noon to 5. And I'm going to tell you what, if you're a pop fan, this is the place to go.
You mean like soda pop?
No.
You mean like pop music?
No.
Well, if I want to talk about it.
You can.
Can I talk about pop music?
But if you're a Funko Pop fan,
Oh.
the little plastic petroleum dudes with the big heads,
Yeah.
this place has got more than a convention.
They have a gazillion of them.
Not that you can go to a convention right now anyway,
Real
but
number.
even if you could go to a convention, Kokomo Toys has a wider selection of the easy ones to get. Those are the common ones.
Sure.
To the rare ones
Sure.
in glass cases.
They have some of there in the glass cases that are like $200 or $300.
Yes, and they have hundreds for only $8 a piece.
Yeah, most of the common ones that come out, when I say common, I mean new releases, they're $8. At Walmart, they're $12, $13.
$8 here.
$8.
Every day. This is a mom and pop shop.
It's not even a sale. It's every day.
$8. I mean, I walked through to get to the chair to sit down.
You
So-
tripped over a pop.
I did. It attacked me. It was like a Chucky pop. He's like, "Here, fat man," and he just started going at me. I'm like, "Get off me, man!" They also are buying all the time. If they're open, they're buying.
Right.
I have seen people show up in U-Haul trucks filled with
Right.
stuff. I've seen people coming in with like one toy.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Amber is always on the look. She's always looking to buy.
She's got a checkbook.
She writes them, man. You know what? I buy a lot of comics. I
Sure.
buy over $100,000 worth of comics a year.
That's a lot.
These guys swamp me.
I don't believe that number.
Absolutely.
100,000?
Yeah.
Wow.
That really surprised you?
Yes.
That hurts my feelings a little
I'm
bit.
yelling.
All right, that's enough of our free plug for the two stores I care about the most. Also on Geek Street, you can find Chapter 2 books, fine people, American Dream and Hi-Fi, great people, and Kingdom Games. They're good people too. Those are everybody that makes up Geek Street. Stop on by. All right, Michael Allen Harrison, my oldest friend in the world. Well, continuous.
Wait, you have people that are your friends and then they stop being your friend and they come back and be your friend again?
You did that.
I was never not your friend. I just moved away.
You were absent from my life. That means you're dead to me.
Well.
Then now you're back and now you're alive again.
I've been alive.
Resurrection.
In some ways, I never left.
I mean, you and I both have friends that we haven't been friends with for like 18 years.
Yeah, that's true.
And now the kids are old enough, I can be friends with them again.
There are people that I think, hey, I'm going to go out and do something. Maybe I should call that person or throw it out to everybody and see if they want to come and do it. And there's people that are not on that list.
All right. So enough of that. So what do you got on the list? Let's.
So much.
What do you want to talk about first, buddy?
Well, as always,
we start. What you want to talk about?
As always, we start off with.
Oh, again, the dead people.
People have passed away. Which,
man, why do we start every show on the downer? Even the Academy Awards knows, man, put this thing about the 75% range. That way we don't lose everybody.
Sure.
Hey, who's dead, Mike?
Hal Holbrook died. 256 credits to his name.
I mean, it's a ton, and yet
From 1955 on, he was working steadily up until about 2017. As far as geekdom, he was in The Fog, the original Fog, with Adrian Barbeau.
John Carpenter.
Adrian Barbeau. Goodness gracious. And but he's been in everything. A TV show he's been in. He was on Evening Shade, that Burt Reynolds show. He was
I do remember him from
like
that.
90 some episodes or something like that.
Yes.
He's been in a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Huge body work. He passed away at, I think, the age of 93, something like that. So
he's one of those actors, I think, he obviously did a ton of work, did it for years, but just never seemed to, he's not on the tip of my mind.
he's a journeyman. He's a journeyman that, did a lot of stage, obviously, as well. I think he actually won a Tony for Mark Twain, and he's just, if you saw his face, you'd go, oh, I know exactly who I'm talking about. So Michael put his face right here. Now, as much as I want to spend more time talking about him, let's get to Dustin Diamond. As far as celebrities go, he's
Is that his real name?
Dustin Diamond? I don't know.
Or did he change it to that?
I don't know that answer to that either.
Okay. I mean, he brought it up.
You know him as, people know him as Screech from Saved by the Bell.
Okay.
That was kind of before, I won't say before my time, but it was like, I wasn't watching that type of TV when I was the age that came on, so I never watched it.
I aged out of that.
I know what it was, but I never watched it. Mike reminded me that he made some type of a porn tape at some point.
Which is where I think the diamond part actually came from.
Is it?
I think he did some.
Was he Dustin Diamond on Save the Bell?
I don't think he was. I'm going to tell you what. You Phil.
Okay.
And
What can I say about Dustin Diamond? I already have. That's all you need to know about the guy. I guess he got in some trouble for maybe saying some controversial things that were either misogynistic or racist, or I don't know. He said some dumb things here recently, I think. But looking at his IMDb credits, he worked consistently making 1 to 2 movies a year for the past 15 or 20 years. Now, they were movies that nobody's ever seen, that me, who watches everything, I didn't recognize a single one of them, but he made them, he got paid, and so he made a living. Plus, I'm sure he did convention appearances and stuff like that. So,
I'll be honest with you, when we saw he died, I knew he was going to get brought up. And the first thing that went through my head was, if you don't have anything nice to say, I'm not going to say anything at all.
Okay, let's move on.
I was like,
but,
I think he was involved in some celebrity boxing.
Sure.
Some... Sure. I would imagine that if the Saved by the Bell cast was being honest, they don't have anything really nice to say about him after that show.
Right.
I think he wrote a tell-all or dished, and so I'm going to stop there.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm glad you got some stuff because I got a bunch of things, but they're a bunch of little things. Not.
All right. Well, let's talk about you're the one that sent me over our little. Hey, we're going to talk about this stuff. The Snyder cut.
Yes.
Of Justice League. Now, do we have the running time again? Is it a movie or is it episodes?
4-hour movie.
So now it's become a 4-hour movie.
Yes. Which
was never going to go into a theater.
No.
No theater was ever going to show I won't say never, a superhero movie that has to get a lot of butts in the seats and turnover.
Right.
Was never, ever going to happen at a 4-hour runtime. 3, maybe 3.5 if you're lucky.
I mean, there's no question. They gave him carte blanche, so he just added whatever he wanted to add. Did tons of reshoots and made probably what's a very, very different movie than what we saw.
So right now, 4-hour movie.
Yeah.
Coming pretty soon.
March, I think.
March or
April.
So it should still be cool. But the newer news.
It's going to be R-rated, which he specifically had talked about that from the beginning of this little launch, but you never know until it's done. So, but R-rated in this vein means more like bad language and red blood. Those are the two things that'll get you an R rating. You can only say so many F-bombs, and in Lord of the Rings, they made sure they were lucky that the orc blood was black, so they could show all the orc blood they wanted to. But red blood is a different animal, and that gets you out of the PG-13 up into the R.
And I said immediately when she said that, I'm like, R rating? There's no way that this cut was ever... So my thing is one, I hope this is a really good film. I hope that this remakes it. But anybody that thinks that this is what you should have gotten in theater or what you were going to get in the theater if he hadn't left the project, you are delusional.
Right.
This movie was never going to be 4 hours. There's no way the studio was going to put out a Justice League movie at rated R. That was never going to be on the table.
That would not happen.
So putting those two things together, the Snyder Cut is something interesting, maybe special, but it's definitely, I think that's the argument I'm going to see from fanboys and other people into this sort of thing. This is what we could have had.
Yeah.
No, you could never have had. If this hadn't flopped, if this hadn't done so poorly, you would never have seen a version of this. You might have seen... Right. I don't know. I think even like the Aliens cuts and other Blade Runners and Ridley Scott stuff.
It'll be win-win for me because if it's great, I get to see a new version or a different version of something that I thought was just okay, but it wasn't horrible.
Have you rewatched it?
I watched. There's the ultimate version that they put out too. That's on Blu-ray.
I don't know what that is.
It's much better. It fills some holes and
okay.
And better.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah. So, but it still runs. It clocks in a couple hours or so. It's not crazy. Yeah. If it's great, it's awesome. If it's not great, maybe people will shut their mouths about other cuts of other things, okay?
Yeah,
you get what you get and you don't throw a fit, okay? Everything in the world doesn't have to be, well, I wonder what his vision would have been for whatever. Well, he had his shot, you know?
I mean, sadly, we're almost to the point with technology that we've seen. I mean, I've seen a bunch of YouTube deep fake cuts of, people redoing the Mandalorian Skywalker thing.
Right.
And now I've started to see other versions of different things where they're redoing stuff.
Right.
So we're almost to the technology where you're going to be able to take your favorite film and make the Harrison cut.
If I can see Bernie Sanders sit in a chair in any possible environment within 5 minutes of him being on screen, you can do anything.
You can do anything.
I believe a man can fly.
We're getting closer and closer to that. So HBO Max still racking up stuff.
Yep.
A lot of big movies coming from them. We've already discussed Godzilla and King Kong.
Right.
But obviously this is a big deal. They've also, I think, scooped Friends. There's a Friends special coming.
Oh,
with
like a reunion. Yeah, I don't know if it's scripted or if it's them sitting down. Because was the Fresh Prince one? It was everybody sitting down, right? Did you watch that?
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
So it was all the cast members, and they were on the set, but it wasn't like an episode. It was
I don't think so.
in the reunion in the sense that it was them all sitting down talking about the show.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the Friends is going to be. I think.
But still, it's going to be another. I mean,
Yeah.
Wonder Woman probably got them some subscriptions.
Oh, it did. It doubled their prescriptions.
You know, and
their
now
prescriptions and their subscriptions.
They've picked up Friends. I believe they're the ones streaming Friends right now, the actual TV show.
I don't remember, but
then they'll get that. They had for me, and I can't believe I haven't watched it yet. I believe it was them. They picked up the West Wing.
Oh, did they?
Live play. They went back to one of their episodes about elections.
Right.
Redid it with the cast as a live kind of play thing.
That's on Max?
I believe so.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
So,
I didn't see it when it aired, so I'd like to see
it. Of course, one of the characters, his
John
has passed away.
He's passed away, right?
So they had him. They did replace that character. Well, they were, they recast that actor so they could have that part because he was a big part of that. So, but man, there's so much on streaming, and that takes us to one of the things I saw. And again, this isn't news at this point.
Sure,
this is all opinions.
Sure.
One of the things I was watching was people were complaining about WandaVision, how either slow it was or they were already checking out. And then I saw this article about how people have forgot how to watch television, at least in the traditional sense that we have watched all of our lives. With the advent of binge and all of it dumped at once, there is no more that you have to wait a week. There's no more patience. You can sit down on your day off and watch every single episode of a show and get instant gratification. Whereas when Lost came out, every week, you were going to work or I was going to work, and we're like, oh, what do you think the blah, blah, blah? And you had a week of discussion and talk and anticipation and build-up. So with WandaVision, now maybe it is slow. I don't know. I mean, I like it. I got it. I understood from the get-go. From we knew some behind-the-scenes stuff. But I do sometimes wonder, have people lost the ability to watch TV? How many traditional television shows are you watching that aren't on a streaming thing right now?
One or two.
Okay.
And that's it.
I watched The Rookie.
Okay.
Because he's amazing, and and then I watched Reno. Now is it Austin? 911 Texas Lone Star, which has got one of the greatest actors of all time as the world's greatest fire chief.
He probably is.
He is. So, and then this year they got rid of the elf chick that was in the Lord of the Rings movies. That's related to the singer Aerosmith. Liv Tyler's gone. I had to do that.
What happened to her? Was she a dispatch person?
She was. No, she was a paramedic.
Oh, she was. Okay.
She was. It's weird. They have it set up. Unlike Kokomo, they have a very distinct. Their firehouse is the fire guys and the paramedic guys, and they interact. But there's like separate offices for the paramedic team.
A lot of big cities have that.
Is that okay? Yep. So Liv Tyler was the paramedic leader.
Gotcha.
And she did have like a great arc in the first season. But then she didn't come back for the second season. I haven't read the gossip on why.
Contractual.
She did have like a closure kind of a thing. Like she had a storyline, and that storyline you got to see how it came together. Now you could have easily have seen her go on, but guess who her replacement is?
I don't know.
Gina Davis.
Wow, man, she's got to be.
That's wrong. It's is it Torres? From
Gina Torres,
Gina Torres. Gina Torres. So I got The Rookie on one thing, and I got that. I just needed them to be.
You're just
on the
a little
same
Firefly.
Show. If I could have got them onto the same show, it would have been perfect. So, but and that's like the only two network TV shows I probably watch, and even the Lone Star is really. I think so. My wife can see him.
Well, back to your point from 10 minutes ago, I saw a quote from Kevin Feige, who said, "We want to do these shows on Disney Plus." Weekly, because we want them to be water cooler things. We want them to be things where people talk about them in between, rather than the possibility of everybody watching it all, which they would, and then losing some of the great moments in their conversation. When we're talking about the big moments of the series, you miss the big moments of each episode. So that's something that especially will happen when you watch today's episode. Very big moment at the end, and
very
so
cool.
Please enjoy that.
And I think we've already seen this exact sort of thing with The Mandalorian, having that week in between, we're talking about it, and like, if Ahsoka had just shown up in a binge thing, it would have been a big deal. Right. But I don't know that it would have been as talked about as it was.
Your personal hero, P.T. Barnum, always said, leave one more. They want, you're creating desire, you're creating a need and a want, and it's working. So I'm all for it.
I'm enjoying it, and I like the fact you have the both. If you like, I've been watching a little bit of Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
But I don't binge a lot of stuff like that. So like for me, watching 1 or 2 episodes in a night is binge worthy. There's only been a couple of shows that have hooked me to the point where I'm going to watch a bunch of it.
Right.
Ranch was one of those. The Ranch has sucked me in.
I wish they would get rid of the midnight release time on these shows though, because I like to get up and look at my phone in the morning when I'm doing other things, sitting down.
You get spoiled?
Well, no, I could.
Yes.
But I stay away from my phone on Friday mornings. It's midnight on the West Coast and 3 a.m. on the East Coast when they drop. Do it at 10 a.m. on Friday. You know what? Because the people who are at work probably should be working and not looking at their phones anyway. Is that a thing? I don't know. And then we all get to watch it at nighttime when they get home or something. I don't know. But I don't like worrying about getting spoiled first thing in the morning when I wake up.
I've had it happen on a couple of things over the years. I haven't had an issue with it much recently, but I agree. Like I will wait. Till tonight, and I'll watch it with my wife, and not a big deal. You saw it already?
I watched it this morning. Yeah.
Is it pretty short, or is it finally long?
It's a half hour-ish or something.
All right, because supposedly they're supposed to get everything I've read.
Yeah.
Is the first couple were fairly short, and then it jumps to like an hour long.
Oh, I don't know.
So
not this one wasn't anyway.
No. All right. Well, there you go.
But it was good. It moved along the story from last. You watched last week's?
Yeah.
Okay, so it moved along from that and went back and forth.
Got me my Jimmy Woo. Yeah. I love Agents of Atlas.
And the only thing and this is not a spoiler. This is just something somebody mentioned, and maybe we can talk about it for just a second.
Sure.
At some point, they're working on some science problem or whatever.
On the outside or on the inside?
On the outside.
Okay.
And Monica says, "I think I know a neurospace engineer who can help us," and she sends a text. And then that's all we hear about that the rest of the season. The rest of the episode. Who's a neurospace engineer that would be somebody that's going to drop in on this show? I was thinking maybe like a Hank Pym or a Reed Richards. That's probably reaching, but it would be cool if it was something like that.
It would be cool. Hank we've seen.
Hank Pym we've seen, yeah.
But if it was a Reed Richards or somebody we haven't seen before, like a big name.
Right.
We saw Bill Foster.
We did?
Yeah, didn't he show up in Ant-Man 2?
Oh yeah. I thought you meant on WandaVision.
No. I'm just saying those the big sciencey characters that could
Neurospace engineer, which I didn't know was a thing.
What is that?
It might be made up. Neurospace. I think
neuro
means brain.
Space,
brain space.
I'm like, I don't know what that
Fixing
means.
things in brain space. Duh.
But she happens to know one.
And has it on speed dial because she sent him a text and moved on throughout the scene.
I don't know who that would be. That's
anyway, but there's a good thing at the very end and pretty big in the Marvel universe.
Looking forward to seeing it. Very excited. Has not let me down so far.
No, I've enjoyed it. Just a couple more things before we move on to your stuff. Disney's planning on having anywhere from 2 to 4. That could be 2, that could be 3, that could be 4. Different spots in the Super Bowl. So I imagine we're going to get... I can't imagine getting another Black Widow trailer because I feel like we've seen too much already on that, just because it's been a year that it was supposed to be released.
Do we have a date even?
Yes, it has a date, and they are still sticking to their date. Once in a while, you'll see something come up and say, hey, they're thinking about doing it on Disney Plus also, and then somebody will come out right after that and say, no, they're not. So who knows? We'll wait and see. Our theater is going to be a thing in a couple months. I don't know, but I think it's March or April. So might see some of that. Probably see something for the Eternals. I think
has got to happen
because it's in the can, and it's
Shang-Chi.
Hopefully Shang-Chi. It's finished filming too. Those are both out this year. I think Eternals is a Christmas movie. I don't know about Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi.
Hoping that Shang-Chi isn't an Iron Fist thing. No. It's one of those things where I love Iron Fist. Out of all those Netflix shows they were doing, Iron Fist is the one I waited for. Right. It was the last one.
Yeah.
In fact, I want to say we got probably 2 Daredevils before we got Iron Fist.
Yes.
And then I got Iron Fist, and I'm like, what did you just give me? This is so bad.
It was junk.
I'm really hoping that Shang-Chi, which is another one of my favorite characters,
Shang-Chi,
doesn't pull the same kind of move, and it's disappointing. So,
and then
big thumbs up. It's gonna be great.
Finally, in that same vein, Ryan Coogler, who directed Black Panther, has said
the Apollo Creed.
Yes.
Oh, I love those.
Said he's working on a World of Wakanda series for for Disney Plus. So exploring more of the world, more of Wakanda itself, and how that I don't know how that fits in the Marvel universe. But
It could be really, really good.
now, was there a World of Wakanda series? Was there a series that dealt with Wakanda?
There has been a lot of Black Panther related comics, and then some have been looking at some of the
Ancillary characters?
yeah, a little bit, but nothing extreme enough to base a series on, in my opinion. But then again, as you know, right now you can base a series on damn near anything.
Yeah.
So
And then finally, I want Don Cheadle to shut his face, okay? Because he somehow said on Twitter or whatever, hey, I'm in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I don't want to know that, okay? Leave that up. And this show is it's out in a few months, okay? So it's done. We haven't heard about that until now. And then a month or so before it comes out, he just drops that and says, oh yeah, I'm in it. Come on, Don.
who's the other Jimmy that's not Fallon?
Kimmel.
All right, so there was like a major spoiler on Jimmy Kimmel for Thor.
Really?
Yeah, he's got a little dude on his show that's like his sidekick.
Diego?
I thought it was like Guillermo or something.
Guillermo.
Something like that. It's his 50th birthday.
Oh, that's nice.
So he ended up getting like 50 shots of tequila from celebrities saluting his birthday.
Wow.
And I mean, it was some A-list. Charlize Theron starts it off. She's got 2. And she's like, I don't know,
Wait, this guy takes 50 shots on the show?
They take 1.
Okay.
But they're getting like 50 different big stars to take for his birthday.
Okay.
Well, one of the shots they show is an airplane with Chris Pratt, Batista, Karen Gilliam, and the guy who played his Rocket Raccoon's actual body, his brother.
Oh, yeah.
From Gilmore Girls.
Gunn,
Yes.
I can't think of his first name. Sean Gunn, thank you.
They're all on a plane together, taking a shot as one, and it goes, hey, we're on our way to this Thor.
I think we all knew the Guardians were in Thor.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Matter of fact,
that was pretty, and now I know, well, those it's not going to be just one.
I knew Karen was, and I knew Star-Lord was. I didn't know about Drax, I'll say that.
Okay.
But given where they went after Endgame and he gets on the ship with them, that I think that had to happen. The one interesting thing out of that just came out this week is they showed a behind the scenes picture of Thor, and number one, he's not Fat Thor anymore, he's real Thor, but he's in the Thunderstrike costume, the Eric Masterson costume, which is kind of a different, kind of an 80s and 90s looking deal. So that was interesting.
He had the hair.
Yeah. His hair.
He has perfect hair.
Yeah.
So, very cool. All right, I asked you to read a book this week.
I did.
It was called Deep Beyond. I don't know. I didn't actually bring it. You had it, I thought, but I brought some other stuff.
I left it at home.
Did you get a chance to read it?
I did read it this morning.
So it's Image Comics. It's a new #1. Before I asked you to read it, I was like, it's an underwater horror kind of a thing. Is the concept you get from the previews and everything we knew about it. Well, anything that's Abyss-like or anything like that, I'm all about. I love that kind of stuff. But then when I read this book, I got a vastly different mix of stuff. This wasn't just like a monster under the water thing. This had a lot going on.
Yes.
And felt like for the first issue of something, for once, I was not disappointed in the amount of content and story. There was a lot to unravel.
There was sociopolitics. There was environmentalism. There was,
monsters underwater.
There were monsters underwater. Now, that's one thing I wasn't clear about. Are they underwater, or are these domes or whatever the cities are in, the stations are in? Is it outside and everything is contaminated outside?
I think it's both.
Okay.
I think you have groups of people in underwater colonies.
Okay.
And then I think you have other people who are in safer zones on Earth.
Right.
But obviously when we saw towards the end of that, we got up top.
Right.
And there were some very obvious not safe zones up top. But now, I didn't feel that the socio part of this thing felt heavy-handed.
No.
I really thought it was a good story. I didn't see it coming. And when things start to go to hell and crazy stuff happens, I'm like, damn, that is a great opening to a movie, kind of a feel to it.
Yeah.
I was just really surprised. That's one of the reasons I asked you to read it, because I was like, man, I really like this. It caught me by surprise. I was expecting aliens underwater with
Yeah.
an abyss element. Instead, I got a lot more than that.
I felt like it was really good writing, especially in the beginning. You have a socialite who's invited a bunch of rich kids to her party, and she's all happy that everybody's there, happy that the president's son is there. She's come on up here, and things that you would normally have to see on screen as far as subtleties and change of tone, I felt like I was reading them when she starts talking about the crappy things that we've been doing to the environment and everything. She had a smile on her face the entire time, so you had to read that, not see it, and so it was pretty good.
Yeah. Art was good, story was good. Again, it gave me a lot of times I read a new book, and newer authors read too quickly. I don't know if it's density. I don't know if it's let art tell the story. There's a lot of different theories out there on different things going on in the comic book world and how people create now. But this one left me feeling satiated. I felt very happy after reading it. I felt like I got enough. Even Marvel occasionally, I'm like, there's been a couple of books where I'm like, I read the first issue and I'm like, would have been nice if the character had been in it. Like I remember there was like a Silver Surfer book kicked off. Like he wasn't even in it till like the last page or something. Right. Stuff like that.
Big reveal.
So that was a sharp book. It's from Image. Go out to your local comic book store, check it out.
Do you have any copies?
I have like one left right now.
I can give you the copy back that I borrowed.
We've got a couple of things we want to talk about. From Boombox, we've got Spectre Inspectors. This is an interesting number one. The idea is it is about 20-something age vloggers going out and doing the whole haunted house kind of stuff.
Ghost facers.
Exactly, that kind of thing. It's got the art for something that would be feeling like maybe it's a younger ages kind of a book.
Yeah.
But this is a $4.99 first issue. It's got a lot of. It's a hefty chunk of book. The story itself is really pretty good.
Good.
It borders that line of it's. I wouldn't give it to a super young reader.
Right.
I would give it to a tween, to 13, 14, maybe a 12-year-old if they were mature enough. And the idea is that in their investigations, nothing has happened their entire time, and they go into this one place, and one of them is possessed.
Oh goodness.
Possessed by something that is real, and then there's like making a deal. And then there's a supernatural element when they try to leave town. They cannot leave this town.
Okay.
They seem to be trapped there. So that was really good. Great reading from IDW is Sea of Sorrows. It is shortly after World War I, deep sea salvage, monsters, gangsters, very dark. The interior of the entire book is just a very dark, inky kind of feel all the way throughout. Good drama and a great little monster story.
Okay.
And these two I just wanted to read. So it's here. So. There you go. Comics Chewed will be hosting our first painting competition.
What?
In the month of February. You gotta stop by.
Paint the fence?
Having, painting little miniatures for Pathfinder, Dungeons and Dragons, role-playing games.
I've seen Karate Kid like 70 times. You'll totally win this.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. And they even made one that I thought would be near and dear to your heart. Check this one out.
What is it?
Like they found a Mike Harrison
what is it?
Miniature. It's called a Minotaur.
Miniatures. They're tiny minotaurs.
Correct.
That's great.
I think that was you.
That's great. I'll paint him pink.
So there you go. That part was a little cool. So yes, this is from Bones. They produce a line of plastic, resiny miniatures. Mm-hmm. And one thing that's cool about this, like you're getting in this Minotaur thing, you're getting four figures for $6.
Man, that's a deal.
A single figure that would represent an actual player character,
$3
is $3.
Wow.
And then like a monster, Direbor. I mean, obviously, I'm sorry, we really can't show you much. Here's plastic. Here's a piece of plastic you can't make out.
Yeah.
It's like $4 for these monsters. So these bones are incredibly inexpensive, even if you're just learning how to paint. And you're like, man, I don't want to ruin it. It's a couple of bucks.
The painting is not as hard as you might think it is.
Really
when I first got into miniature games 10 or 15 years ago, I was pretty intimidated. But once you start putting some paint on the plastic, I mean, yeah, you can mess it up and make it, but it's going to look however you want it to look, you know? You can go crazy and try to win all kinds of awards and stuff if you want to, but...
I mean, there's levels. If you're painting just for your pure enjoyment,
yeah,
it's as simple as sit down, put some base coats on it,
yeah,
you can be done.
Flock it.
If that's another thing, dude. It's funny because people make fun of it. I swear, if you flock it well, it will make the miniature look better.
It looks twice as good.
Every time. So this contest we'll be having through Comics Cubed. I'll check out our Facebook page.
All right.
Comics Cubed. We'll be going through the rules. Basically, you come in, you buy a miniature from our store, and you're in the contest. You enter it by
I'm in.
end of the month, and then you'll win. We're gonna
What do you win?
You're gonna get your name on our trophy. Do one of those. Like,
That sounds great.
Things. When I'm selling you a $3.99 product, it's really hard to go. Here's $100 award.
Well, I know.
So,
I know.
So yeah,
Will it be displayed in the store?
Yeah, we're gonna have a little area set up.
I
for
like
it,
that, Finn.
Kind of like your employee of the month will be painter of the month, and then
Fame.
we'll
I like
get to
fame.
work with us on what the next contest will be, kind of thing.
Okay.
Like that, and hopefully, if it grows, then we can source cooler stuff. So I would love to have a trophy.
Man, I
love
wish
trophies.
I wish we were all playing miniature games again.
So that's kind of what this is about. We've got a brand new paint rack system in the store.
Oh, it's
and
amazing.
I want to get people painting. And then in that thing, for D&D fans, they are going to love this. This is D&D Icons of the Realms, Icewind Dale.
Icewind Dale?
Brand new thing they've just put out. And so perfect for D&D games, perfect for Pathfinder games. This is card craft. The idea is you will make
The village?
the house, like this is the lodge,
wow.
this is the entire village.
Wow.
And it's cardboard,
Yeah.
but the look of these things is substantial.
Huh.
They don't look like flimsy cardboard stuff. They've got a great 3D look to them.
Have you put any of them together yet?
I haven't yet. These just came in before. I was like a minute late coming here to open
Right.
up the box to get these
That's
out.
awesome.
So Icewind Dale is the hot new thing. This paper craft set stuff is it's amazing looking. I've actually made houses out of like styrofoam
Sure.
and done all that, but I have to admit, this looks so good. I am looking forward. I've got an extra one at the lodge to put together to see, so we can do a little review on it and let people know.
Cool.
So the lodge is $15.99, and it's like a 2-3 story building. It's pretty large, and then for $30 you get the village, which is 3 different buildings, an inn, an apothecary, and a residence.
10 towns. I remember 10 towns.
There you go. That's what we got this week, people. Thanks for checking us out. We'll see you next time. Be groovy.